Woke supremacy
playing
news.
politics with human beings. CNN's Miguel Marquez is live in Martha's Vineyard for us. Let's start there. Miguel, what is happening there right now?
Kate, not sure if you can. Sorry, Kate, not sure if you can hear me. But so, what is happening here now that all 50 immigrants have been put on buses and are headed to a ferry and going to the mainland? The concern for people here is not their ability to handle 50 immigrants from somewhere else or 50 people of any sort, but one, they arrived here without any notice whatsoever. The planes were about 20 minutes out when they informed the airport here on Martha's Vineyard that they were going to land, and only once they landed and they started to deplane did they realize who was on those planes. It was extraordinarily difficult for them to sort of meet their immediate basic needs, and that's what they did in St. Andrew's Parish House here, the church right across the street. They were able to stay here for a couple of nights and also, more importantly, meet with lawyers. This is really where it gets difficult for these migrants, is that they were flown here. They were found in Texas by several individuals who told them that they had an opportunity for them. They came with them, trusting them because they were desperate and they had just completed a two-month journey, and then they were here, and they have hearings for their asylum status across the country: Los Angeles, Washington State, Cincinnati, all over the place. That is what really has complicated things for these people now, and that's sort of what officials here are saying, is that yes, there is a problem at the border and they can handle them here, but they really complicate these people's lives even more by just dumping them on an island off the coast of Massachusetts. There was one woman who was a volunteer.
My heart breaks for them because they were not the first priority. But I hope that for all of them, that in all of their travels that they've had right now, that these 3 days, I hope they feel exceptionally loved. They're in my heart forever.
So a very, very close connection. The immigrants today lined up with the few belongings they had, and one by one boarded the buses. There were hugs, there were cheers, there were photographs. It felt very much like sort of an end of summer trip for these people who now begin yet another extraordinary phase of their lives. Kate?
Miguel, thank you so much for being there. Appreciate it. So President Biden, he is now attacking the Republican governors who are leading the way in moving these migrants north. CNN's Jeremy Diamond is live at the White House for us with this. Jeremy, Biden calls and describes these moves as inhumane, but what is the administration going to do about this?
Well, listen, Kate, over the last 24 hours, we've heard expressions of outrage from the president and his top officials. We heard the White House press secretary yesterday saying that abandoning these families and children, whether it is on the streets of Washington in front of the vice president's residence or in Martha's Vineyard, is cruel and inhumane. And last night, we heard directly from President Biden as he was addressing the Congressional Hispanic Caucus Institute Gala, the president accusing the governors of Texas and Florida of interfering with the safe and humane processing of these migrants, and he also accused them of playing politics with human beings.
Instead of working with us on solutions, Republicans are playing politics with human beings, using them as props. What they're doing is simply wrong. It's un-American. It's reckless.
And to your question, Kate, about what this administration can actually do about it, it's not clear what they can do about the busing and the flying of these migrants from other states to Washington, to Martha's Vineyard and other places. But we do know that today, Biden administration officials are set to meet to discuss a range of immigration issues, including what potentially the Department of Justice, the Department of Homeland Security could do from a legal perspective to stop these actions or to address them. They're also going to be discussing potential additional resources to help some of these border communities and also some of these other cities across the country that are receiving these large numbers of migrants at their doorstep. Kate?
Jeremy Diamond, thank you so much. Joining me now, Democratic Senator from Massachusetts, Ed Markey. Senator, thank you for coming on. What are you hearing right now is going to be happening to these people that landed in Martha's Vineyard and are now heading out?
Well, they're being given an option of going to a military base on Cape Cod where they will be provided all of the resources which they need or to stay where they are. So they'll be given that option right now. I think even as we're speaking, those who have decided to leave are being put on buses so that they can be taken over to the military base on Cape Cod, and all of that's being done, obviously, in cooperation with those families.
We're actually taking a look. We can't see it, though, Senator, of the ferry that's leaving Martha's Vineyard. We believe that is where some of these families, some of these people have actually boarded to do just what you're describing as we're watching this play out. President Biden, Jeremy Diamond was just talking about President Biden's reaction last night, accusing Republican governors of playing politics with human beings. There is a clear political motivation here on the part of the Republican governors. That should be no surprise. They want the border crisis to be more front and center in this political election cycle. As a political maneuver, Senator, is it working?
Well, obviously, Ron DeSantis, Greg Abbott, they're vying for the mantle of being the next Donald Trump. How do you make America great again? By making America hate again. So it's a competition, a vile competition, an unconscionable competition to use immigrants, Muslims, anyone who they want to be able to describe as the other, as a pawn in their own personal political ambition. And so for them, yeah, maybe they'll get more time on Fox News. So maybe it is successful for them. But for our country, it's just not anything that is seemly. Look, Massachusetts over the last year has welcomed thousands of Afghan and Ukrainian refugees to Massachusetts. So we're going to welcome people. We're going to take care of people. But if they want a solution, then come to the table on a comprehensive immigration bill, which they have refused to do for 9 years. Since 2013, we keep welcoming or inviting Republicans to the table. They do not want to talk about a comprehensive set of solutions to these problems. They'd rather have this issue as a political hot button to signal to their most conservative base that they are going to demonize these poor, vulnerable individuals and families.
If you try to separate the policy from the politics here, these are Republican governors, Republican states. They say if places like Massachusetts want to be sanctuaries, then they are best or better situated to help alleviate the crush of people coming across the border. That being said, should states like Massachusetts be doing more to help? This is separate from refugee issues from Ukraine and Afghanistan. Senator, can you hear me? I think, unfortunately, we've lost the connection.